You're listening to it, it might be good evening, but for me, it is good morning. Today, we're going to take a quick look at the impact of political parties on government. This should not be too long of a lecture, but I think it's a really important one, so make sure you complete your mini FRQs because I will be checking those the next time we meet. We're going to start with Congress. And how do political parties impact Congress? Well, the first piece is about the committees. You see, in the House and Senate, and we've gone through this before, in how a bill becomes a law, everything has to go through committee. So if you are the majority party in the House of Representatives or in the Senate, you pretty much control things. So I'm just going to pick, well, since it's about school, let's take education. Uh, and we get to the Education and the Workforce Committee, and then we're going to go to members. And as we get to the members, we're going to see, yes, because the Republican Party is the majority party in the House of Representatives, they have a majority of members on the committee. They also have a majority of members on every subcommittee. That's how it works in the House and in the Senate. So when you are the majority party, now let's do one more. Let's go with judiciary. We go there, we get a great little message, which I get rid of, and then let's see if we can find quickly, here we go, the committee. Membership, there we go. And we're going to find Republicans, and then the Democrats, and I could count it up, but I'm not going to. You're going to take my word for it. There will be more Republicans than Democrats because that's how everything works in the House of Representatives. So, and the Senate. I keep saying just the House, but it is and the Senate. So, the majority party controls all the committees. Why is this important? Because they control the conversation. It's that simple. If the majority party wants to talk about it, it will be spoken about. If the majority party doesn't want to talk about it, then the bill can be killed in committee. That is a phrase that is called pigeonhole. We've talked about it before and we'll hit it again. So here we go. The majority party has the chairman on all committees. The chairman has a tremendous amount of power when it comes to pigeonholing different bills. The minority party has the ranking member. So let me go back here one more time. Let's go to agriculture. And let's go to committee about, here we go, committee members. And you're going to see the ranking member here is Colin C. Peterson for the Agriculture Committee. So if the Democratic Party were to win in the House of Representatives, then the minority or the ranking member would become more than likely the committee chairman, and the committee chairman would more than likely become the ranking member. And then down at the bottom of the list, there we go, you would wind up adding a couple more Democrats to this side and subtracting a couple of Republicans from this side. So the ranking member is basically a person who is sitting there waiting to one day hopefully become the chairman of the committee. Okay. When we look at the majority party, they also have all of the leadership. Now, why is that important? Because these are the people who actually get some press time. These are the people who are the spokespersons for the political party. So you should recognize a couple of these names, at least by now. The Speaker of the House is John Boehner. We've spoken about him quite a few times. On the Democratic side, you'll see Nancy Pelosi. Now, today, you are much more likely to know John Boehner's name than Nancy Pelosi's because John Boehner is the Speaker. John Boehner gets a lot more attention from the press because he speaks for the majority party in the House of Representatives. If we were looking at the Senate, we would see that Harry Reid is going to be the majority leader in the Senate, and Mitch McConnell is the minority leader. Who gets more attention? Harry Reid right now because he is the person who speaks for the Senate. All right. The staffers, the people who work for all the people in Congress, are partisan. This is patronage. This is where you get to hire people who have supported your campaigns in the past, who believe in the goals of the party, and who want to further the party. In the House of Representatives and the Senate, the majority party gets 2 staff people for every 1 the minority party gets. So there's an actual numerical advantage. So, like, there's a real good possibility that after the November elections, Democrats will lose control of the Senate and Republicans will gain control of the Senate. So, in January, when they convene the new Senate, it'll be a great time to be a Republican person looking for a job in Washington, and a really bad time for the Democratic ones because the Democrats will have to let people go. So people who have worked for the Senate for years might be told, we're sorry, you've got to go. And the people on the Republican side, they will be hiring. Make no mistake about this. The people the Democrats let go will not be the people that the Republicans will pick up. These are partisan positions. You are going to hire people who reflect your values. All right. Now, on to the executive branch. Again, why are the political parties important? Well, nearly all appointments to the White House office are partisan. These are political appointees, and I want you to take a look here. There are lots of them, but this I thought was a really good spot. The following entities exist within the White House office. So all of these here are going to be people that the president and his helpers kind of pick, and they'll fill out agencies. And these are partisan positions, all of these. So the president is basically looking and saying, who do I want on my side? Who do I trust? Who do I want in a position of power? Now, the one that I don't think is here yet is going to be the new Ebola czar. And that's actually gotten a lot of attention in the press because the person President Obama chose was not a medical person, but basically an administrative person who had worked for the president previously. And the president's point of view is, I don't need somebody who is a scientist to head this. I need someone who can administrate things, someone who can listen to doctors, listen to medical advice, and make sure that as a nation we are protected from an outbreak of Ebola. So there's been some controversy about this, but the president gets to make that appointment. It is a partisan appointment, and I believe the Ebola czar did not require any approval of the Senate. Most of these appointments do not require approval of the Senate. So, uh, as I said here, a lot of these people go from or come from election campaigns, and in the Ebola czar person, that's exactly what they did. Um, Again, you can see that these political appointees get a lot of positions in the executive branch, and they are partisan. It is very, very rare for a president to choose someone from an opposition political party to remain in his organization or to come into his organization. It doesn't happen too often. There are some exceptions that rule, but most of the time, you are rewarding people who have helped your ideology in the past. Now, it's not as big as it once was because of the Office of Personnel Management. I wanted to show you something here I thought you all would be interested in. When you are done with school or you are a student, you will see that there's a government website called USA Jobs Working for America, and you'll see that they have opportunities for people who are looking for employment, and they have federal occupations by college major. There are also places where you might be able to find internships or jobs as students. So a lot of times students who might be on a college are looking for some employment. Well, the federal government might be able to use your services so that you can earn some money and still stay in school. So USA Jobs. Now, why is this important? Because this is not partisan. If you go back to Andrew Jackson, Jackson started the spoils system. And the idea was, to the victor goes the spoils. And for a long period of time, we had that as an issue. When Garfield got assassinated as president, it was from a guy who thought that he should have been given a job and was not. And it was because of the spoils system. So we reformed our government, and we have created a civil service system, which today is the Office of Personnel Management, and we match people to jobs based on their skills, not based on what political party they support. Our last piece on this with impact of parties on government is the judicial branch, or next to the last piece, sorry. And there is your Supreme Court. The judicial branch is supposed to be nonpartisan, but since justices are nominated by the president and confirmed by the Senate, there is definitely going to be a partisan breakdown. When we look at the current Supreme Court, we will see the Chief Justice is right here. That is John Roberts. John Roberts was appointed by President Bush. Next to him, we have Anthony Kennedy, who was appointed by Ronald Reagan. We have Anton Scalia, who also was appointed by Ronald Reagan. We have Clarence Thomas, who was appointed by George H.W. Bush. We then in the back row, oh, I'm sorry, wait, yep. In the back row, we have Sonia Sotomayor, who was appointed by President Obama. We have Stephen Breyer, who was appointed by Bill Clinton. We have Samuel Alito, who was appointed by George W. Bush. We have Elena Kagan, who was appointed by by President Obama. And then we have Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who was appointed by Bill Clinton. If we break them down ideologically, we have moderate conservative. Sorry, that is Anthony Kennedy. Strong conservative in the Chief Justice. Strong conservative. Strong conservative. Strong conservative. Liberal. 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 So what does it mean? We've got 4 pretty strong conservatives, 4 pretty liberal liberals, 1 moderate conservative in Anthony Kennedy, which means that most of the Supreme Court decisions have been 5-4 that when they do not come to full agreement, and they have tended to go to the conservative side. So these are partisan positions. Okay? Our last part right now are state and local governments. And when you look at most state government positions, they are partisan. What am I talking about? We're talking about the state assembly, the state senate, the governor. These are partisan positions that we the people vote on, and we choose many times based on political parties. However, there are also positions which are nonpartisan, and some are statewide, some are not. But an example of a nonpartisan position would be mayor. Now, a mayor may have a political party affiliation, but they don't run necessarily as Republicans or Democrats. I think some better examples, school boards. We're about to have a school board election here in Poway Unified, and people are not running as Republicans or as Democrats. They are running as people just looking to serve the community. So, once again, as we look at the impact of political parties on government, there is a huge impact because with numbers comes strength. And if you are the majority party in an elected body, you are going to be able to make policy and in many ways prevent the opposition from making policy. So, I hope this was a quick and easy lecture. Please make sure if you have any questions to ask me when we meet again. And that's it. That brings this lecture to an end.